Welcome back to Going Corn, episode number 7 here. We've got a couple special guests, unfortunately, to the podcast tonight. We have Brett Detmar and another special guest that will be here later on in the podcast. And I already hate this podcast, and we're only 30 seconds in. So to the asshole that got the other guests here, Caleb.
Okay, you need to get into this one. This is going to be a good podcast. You're negative Nelly tonight.
It's about 9:15.
You still hungover, Greg, from Saturday?
That was Sunday, and yes. My abdominals hurt from throwing up.
Should have just gotten some Chick-fil-A.
I should have. Anyway, so we're going to do the same old stuff while we have people looking up other nonsense. We're going to recap week 3. Look forward to week 4. So let's see here. It was week 3 because I'm 0-6, so there's been 3 weeks. So let's just get that out of the fucking way now. So, and now my internet won't load, so that's good.
That's all right. So, I got the games. I'll read off scores. So the 6:15
see
games.
if you can read off those, and let's see if this will load in time.
Yeah,
probably not.
The 6:15 games. We had the Barnstormers against the Backdoor Sliders, and the result that surprised no one. The Barnstormers won 21-6 over the Sliders. 21-6. Jordan, you're an accountant. No. You're not coming on until later. We already said this. The Clay Street Crocs won 15-10 over the Turtles. We saw that coming as well. The Vultures, we'll talk about your owner's questionable trade moves. The Vultures won 6-2 over the Corn Bombers. The Bashers got their first win of the season, put them in the win column, 5-4 over the Sluggers. And the Bush League Badgers won 7-0 over the Noble Narwhals in a perfect game, I believe.
7:30 games. Clay Street Crocs dismantled the Turtles 15-5. Squints.
That's a double-digit loss. Shut
8-0. Badgers won 1-0. Vultures 5-4 over the Bombers. And Barnstormers won in a closer game 7-2 on Harambe. They decided they just wanted to get out of there, so they just start hitting on the ground, I guess. So, thoughts on week 3?
Well, no, let's go through the standings first.
Oh, standings.
Yep.
You betcha.
Yep.
Well, all the way at the bottom, you got your Sliders and Narwhals at 0-6. Next up, you have the Corn Bombers at 0-4. The Big Unit Bashers get their first win, so they're 1-5. Maniacs had the bye week. They're 1-3 now. Sluggers and Badgers 2-2. The Scrappin' Turtles moved down to 4-2. Barnstormers and Liners at 4-0, and then Crocs and Vultures at 6-0 at the top. So,
confirmed.
Thoughts on standings, week 3?
Well, here,
everything up to now.
I'll open it up with a question to our 2 guests that are here. So, obviously, we talked last week. The first 2 weeks are tough to make any calls on what you've seen. We're 3 weeks in now. You kind of get a picture of what's going on. 8 through 12, biggest shock to you guys. What surprises you the most when you look at that? When you look at the Maniacs, the Bashers, the Bombers, the Sliders, the Narwhals. I have my thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts first.
Personally, I think besides my team, since I thought that I'd at least have one win and not be below the fucking Reinhouts, I thought the Maniacs were going to be better than they were, and I know that on your guys' podcast
I have
earlier.
Number 1.
Yeah.
No,
you
I
both
had
you
them number
Caleb
one.
someone
had
had
them
them
number
number
one.
one,
Caleb
and now they're sitting at 8th. Now they had a bye, so I mean, they technically only played 2 weeks so far. But I think that's my biggest surprise up to this point. You have Jack, Lucas, and Kevin. That's a solid. That's a solid core.
Well,
John
it's
Enningenberg.
And
Well,
John.
it's been John, Jack, and Kevin have been the consistent ones, and then they had Lucas didn't show up. I don't think the second week. He only showed up the first week.
Well, I can speak from experience because we played this team week 1. It is tough facing Jack and Lucas, but their counterparts, Casper and the Ghost, they're pretty easy to get out. I don't know about, what you guys think, but if they're going to consistently leave at 7:45 every week, if I'm playing the Maniacs, I'm showing up to the field, I'm tying my shoes every other inning. I'm making a water trip every 20 minutes. I mean, for crying out loud, why would you one game takes an hour? Tim's
Why
got
even
something
come
to
when
say.
you got to go play the BP Union League out in Crown Point you start at 6:15 and you're playing at 6:45?
I don't know.
Big signing for the Maniacs. They signed Joey Rivera. Went over 5 Ks last week. Solid signing.
Jeez.
They're making bad
Interesting.
moves too, but I wouldn't expect anything less from Kevin.
Well,
more.
the thing
Well,
is they
I-
needed to get under salary, so they got rid of Bartley, and Bartley was never going to play for him, but now he's on the Crocs, and I'm guessing he'll show up for at least 6 games this year.
We're on the topic of hot signings. Tim, let's talk about the Turtles signing this past week. How'd that work out for you? Tyler Van Kuiken really came through, didn't
Hey,
he?
he's the number 2 in the lineup.
Looking
this
pretty
week.
good with Decking
All I'm
got
gonna
$40.
say is the Wind lost us that game. Greg,
What?
your thoughts?
The Wind, I don't know. You had at least the wind blowing out. Tim did hit a home run himself, but
Damn right.
yeah. Anyway, you had plenty of opportunities to score runs, especially in the first game. You had opportunity to win, but then the second game, how many did Tyler give up? Sorry, but I know you didn't want a shout out on this podcast this week. He asked for no shout out, but
Tyler gave up how many
you were
runs?
a big signing in this past week, so we have to kind of talk about it. And Deckinga played really well again. He's up to $37 now.
For not knowing Tyler at all and just seeing him playing, I would say he's still a good addition to the league. I think he's a decent guy.
Yeah.
He's Ileana grad, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, he's a
Tyler
year
Van
younger than
Kuiken?
me.
Yeah,
he's a year
seems like
younger
a
than
nice
me.
guy.
Him and Ty Bothwell. I mean, it's just, I don't know.
Hey, put some respect on Van Kuiken's name.
I love Tyler Van Kuiken. I'm just saying, I don't know how, and me and Matt actually texted about this. I'll show you the DMs, unlike Chris Broussard. Tyler,
Receipts, huh?
yeah. Justin Deckinga is a 2018 Leroy champion, proven in the clutch. Are you going to find your jewel? You just dropped it out of your pants. How is it in your pants? Okay. He's a proven winner. And yeah, I get it. You have to make a move for potential in this league. I get that. But after 1 week, I don't know. That move might have sunk the Turtles. I'm not going to lie to you.
Listen, me, Matt, are both old, aged fucking hitters who can't hit, pitchers who can't pitch. Justin's the same. Tyler's new blood. We're trying to get something good going
Justin
on.
is not the same. Justin's a $37 player.
Yes, because he's had the wind blowing out every week. Okay.
Except for
He
the
played
first
the
week.
Who did
He
he,
did
play
not.
last week?
The-
The
He had the wind
sliders?
blowing in.
Anyone's a $40 salary playing against the sliders.
Who did he play week 2? Who'd you play week 2? Because the wind was howling in.
The Narwhals.
No, that was week 1, and the wind was howling in.
Justin's a $40 player, and you've played with the wind blowing in 2 weeks. Your argument is debunked. You're wrong. Pass the mic over
I'm
to
not
Brett.
the owner.
Go
I'm
It's
on
all
the
mute.
right.
owner.
People
Matt's
make
the
bad
owner.
moves.
Go on mute.
I'm on mute. Matt's the owner, not me. I'm just a player.
Wow, he's pulling a
We'll
Magic
get to
Johnson
that in
here.
the lineups.
Is
for
there
this
some
week.
Magic Rob Pelinka drama going on in Turtleville or what? Okay.
Did you see Heath Ledger after the
Oh,
Dark
and there's
Knight?
Heath Ledger
Oh,
controversy
gosh.
too.
Anyway,
They played
So-
this Clay Street Crocs week 2.
Yeah, so there you go.
no, that was week 3.
I want to get into another topic.
Hold up. We
Okay.
went into extras against the Crocs, and we barely
Yeah, I know.
lost. So
you lost by
we
5.
weren't talking
lost
about your
by 5
games.
in extras.
We were talking about the fact that you think Justin's a $40 player because he's played with the wind blowing out 3 weeks, when in reality,
Justin, okay. Tyler will be better than Justin end of the year. Mark my words.
I still think
No.
looking at this, it was very surprising that Justin was not picked up by a team.
Well, he's on the Kermit now.
But he's able to be signed to a
Yeah.
main roster, and he's
Mhm.
not on a main roster.
Yeah.
That surprised me the most looking at this.
I mean, same thing with Peter Kuritz.
And Michael Wilburn. I mean,
Why are we just
Michael
looking
Wilson.
at all these?
Let's keep
my
going.
Gosh.
So
anyway,
rumor mill. I hear Ryan Julian's on your watch list this week.
Okay. Now we're just taking shots at all these guys.
No, this is a good thing. The point that we're making is that we don't know any of these people, but the fact that they're coming into our league and wanting to play, that's a good thing. Let's transition into this
True.
point because this is something I want to talk about after 3 weeks. We were talking about this off the
Are
air.
you talking about Zach Turbin?
I was
He's playing
talking
for the
about Joe
Sliders.
Melf.
Zach Turbin is now the new Matt Schaff. Less at bats, less innings pitched than Matt Schaff. We have a new low.
Okay, that won't last.
How is anyone lower than Colin Peters? That's impossible.
How is anyone lower than Arthur?
Okay.
Let's
Okay.
keep going.
Okay, we're keeping going. So we were talking about this off the air, and I think it's a good point to bring up. Some of these salaries are ridiculous for the league right now. Okay, we've got, who did we say is high? Micah Hescott right now, sitting at $31.42. Let's look at the Bombers here. He's higher combined than Jake Van Vuren and Chandler Kimmel. Thoughts?
And me? No, he's
Micah
Higher than
Hescott
me.
has a higher salary than every single one of the Corn Bombers rostered players right now.
Yeah, I understand that. That's why I think that, yeah, as well as the backdoor sliders, he has a higher salary than all the backdoor sliders, almost as high as all the narwhals. Let's see.
Almost as high as all the maniacs outside of Jack.
And he's played about 8 career games.
He had the wind blowing out last week. That's all I got to say on that one.
I agree.
I mean, he wanted to come in and prove himself, too, because not showing up. And they also had another last-minute change on the lineup as well. They did have him in the lineup again this week, and then he backed out, I guess, and Cole Feldy's now in the lineup. So,
I guess
it's interesting.
my take would be we say that it takes 2 weeks to kind of normalize and everyone gets to a point where they're basically playing at what they are, but we are not seeing that right now. Right?
No, after 3
these
weeks?
stats.
No.
After 3 weeks, we're not seeing that. Or
Why
some
do you
people
think that
play 2
is?
weeks.
Why do you think that is?
I think the field conditions have a huge
Part in
mark
it.
on
I agree.
We've not just had one, normal wind day.
normal wind day, and when you're playing on that field, you have to realize that you're getting more at bats, and you're getting not more innings pitched, but you're getting more at bats because you're scoring more runs,
Yeah.
which are all adding to that algorithm.
Yeah. Lots of inflated salaries. Lots
Can I-
going on.
Can I add a theory why?
Yes.
Hold on. I got to get to this 1 second.
Yeah. If you look at the salaries, a lot of them are overhyped, but they'll come back down after a little bit. I mean, say it time and time again, it's a full season in Leroy kind of thing. You need a full season to really get an idea of where players are at and what they're doing. And
I have a theory. Let's look at ERA. Why we have such inflated salaries. Let's go through this list. Your top 15, think about what we've had in years traditionally, right? Your top 15, I mean, usually your top 10 pitchers are all sitting at what? You know,
two.
Two. right? That's your top
Under
10.
2 is elite.
Under 2 is
Yeah.
elite.
Especially
Okay.
in football.
I would say 3 is about elite.
Yeah.
Under that, we have Vince Carullo, 0 ERA. Me, 0 ERA. Mike Kabaki Jr., 0.86. Matt Dykstra, 1.2. Justin Deckinga, 1.5. Garrett, 1.5. Jackson, 2.0. Eric, 2.0. Zach Ice, 2.0. Rat, 2.0. Varlan, 2.0. Buchek, 3.0. And then 4.09. People are pitching.
Yeah.
So you're coming at it saying it's not the hitting, it's they're getting their stats from their pitching.
Absolutely. Like when you look at hitting right now, go to in Facebook, go to the chat for the hitting leaders. There is a monster divide between the top 3 and everyone else beneath it. And I think it's due to pitching getting better. We've seen this, though. I've been saying this for a few years now. The league, the first 2 years, Tim can attest to this, atrocious pitching-wise. The league ERA was what, around 9, 10 average?
Yeah.
Last year was what, like 6? And that's just going to continue to drop. So as people are figuring out how to pitch more and more, I think there's going to be a bigger disparity between those inflated stats and what reality usually is. I mean, you'll have your mainstays at the top. The cream's always going to rise. But the disparity between guys that are ass and the guys that are like right in the middle is going to be a lot higher, I think.
Yeah, well,
So-
we did have that one season where our mounds were pushed back.
Right?
Yeah.
Which
Guessing
yeah,
that the ERAs went higher then,
right,
and now we're back on the downslope.
right.
Because people are adjusting, yeah, for sure. But I mean, now, does that shift kind of what you need in the playoffs, though? Do you need that elite hitter to combat the, to the pitching? Because the thing is, I mean, my team's really built around pitching. If you look at my stats, like Caleb said before the show, we've got one of the best run differentials, one of the
Sixth in the
top
league.
half,
You're 0-6 with
But-
the 6th best run differential.
but we can't score runs.
Right.
So,
Well, we
It
might
comes
be
down to that.
seeing a transition because we've said
For the longest time.
for probably the whole since 2014, pitching wins, especially when the mounds got pushed back. Then it was like pitching definitely wins,
nope.
and now it might be almost half the league is good at pitching. So how are you going to score?
See,
Yeah.
but look at this. This is, and this even backs up your theory. Let's look at runs scored right now in the top 4.
I got one comment to make.
Okay.
Valiant Vultures are a very good proposition of what's going on. The new Kermit rule.
Yeah.
They're 6-0
Yeah.
because of Chris Steele.
Right.
Chris Steele's a 0 salary, but he's actually a $45 player.
Right.
Come playoff time, he can't play that
But
roster.
But his salary is all based off of hitting, though.
There's
more
gonna be a divide of what owners choose is more important, regular season or playoffs, and that's what's going to be the key. Quinn has proven that regular season's good for him. Will he come playoff time? I don't know. Ask Robbie how that worked for him.
Facts. Well, and just to back that up, look at the top 4 teams. Let's even just stay there with runs scored. Okay. The top 4 run scored differentials in the league: 42, 66, 40, and 54, respectively. Here's what's even crazier: runs allowed. There are 3 teams right now, or 2 teams in the bottom 5 that are in the top 5 in runs allowed in the league: the Bombers and the Narwhals. But they are the 2 lowest runs scored in the league. I honestly believe, and I've said this for a long time, right? Pitching is going to win. But because people are pitching better, you got to be able to hit too for the first time. So that poses an interesting question. I mean, Tim, a Forner owner, Greg, an owner, Brad, an owner. Do you take your 3 or 4 and instead of finding a guy that's going to throw strikes, find a guy that's going to hit? I think of right now a guy like Brian Travis for Eric. Maybe not as consistent of a pitcher, but he'll run into a fast pitch homer. Do you sacrifice maybe 2 runs a game for a guy that can change the game with one swing at this point?
Yeah, I agree. I think going back, since I haven't been on any podcast yet, Brian Travis was probably the most overlooked person in the draft for me.
Agreed.
Dropping that low, he was mad, and I think he was mad for a reason. But I had in my mind, I mean, I don't really want. I know that he can't throw,
Right.
and I saw that again, like the series against you.
Right.
But now it's like, yeah, I think I would trade off
one of those
trade
guys.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
it's harder to get like on base. Like for me, I can't even get a 10-pitch single anymore, especially with the wind blowing in.
That's
but-
the key, is adjusting to the atmosphere. Leroy's, hey, if you want to play in a league that doesn't have wind, go to fucking GBL. Leroy, you got to adjust to your atmosphere, and you got to adjust to.
To be
the wind's-
fair, the wind is affected in every.
Oh, yeah,
single-
absolutely.
Every single.
If the wind's
football
going in,
league.
you got to find a guy who hits ground balls.
Right.
You got to find a guy that can run.
Right.
I'm not that guy,
Right.
but
Right.
you got to find ways to win. That's it.
Right. Well, and I even look at, and again, I'm not the kind of person who'll come on here and talk about, my team exclusively, but you look at the liners with what Matt is doing this year. I mean, granted, my numbers are where they usually are, but for crying out loud, Matt's hitting .517, slugging .1207. He's got 6 homers, 14 RBI, 35 total bases. I mean, not only is he doing that from a pitching perspective, 7.5 ERA, 5 earned runs, Alec had a lower ERA than him last year, but he's hitting about 200 points higher than Alec did at all last year, and he's almost a quarter of the way to Alec's home run total in 6 games. So from that perspective, I'll trade off the 3 points in ERA for the fact that he's going to put the ball over the fence. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
I have a question for both of you, since I already know Tim's take because it's a new rule this year. But what do you think about having the Kermit players 0 for the entire regular season
Yeah.
and not having to field the team that's under, even if they're a Kermit player?
You can go first.
I think it's. I do agree with Tim's point of it sucks that we don't let those people play. Tim's always been a big person of like letting people play in the league and be able to come. So yeah, it kind of does
like Joe
suck.
Youngman.
Like. So I mean, yeah, it sucks that Deal and it just depended on who Grant wanted. Do you want Rat or Deal? Because either the other team that didn't get their person signed, Chris Deal, that team's going to look really good for a long time.
Right.
But yeah, is it going to matter if they're the 1 seed and then they get bumped in the first round of the playoffs because they got to play somebody who's $10?
Right.
I mean, they've been losing some salary, too, so they need to – that's the thing. I mean, if you're going to do that, you need to just be racking up salary to try and, figure it out by the end of the year.
Yeah.
So
My biggest in your player, Vince Carrillo, played 4 games last year, had a salary of $54. If we had the rules of last year, no one would be able to sign him.
Yeah.
So, and Chris Steele this year, no one would be able to sign him or play him after his 4 games.
Right.
So that's my thoughts on that, is getting better players to play every week. And eventually Chris Steele's salary is going to slowly average out to where we need him to be, where someone could sign him. And that's my thoughts are getting better players in the league to be able to play every week.
Right. I agree. Yeah, and you know what? And here's the thing. This is an equal opportunity rule. And I've said this last year, too, because there was a whole big argument last year in the owners' chat because it was Caleb plays in all these leagues, Brett knows all these people, Eric's friends with all these people. This is an equal opportunity rule. Yeah, sure, I might be more connected than some other people, but if you know people and you bring them along and you put them on your Kermit roster, they are yours until somebody signs them. It's not like I have a certain, magic ball that I find all these players and magically sign them. What I did with Rat this year, I texted Rat, and I didn't know that his softball league got moved. I just said, are you going to be able to play this year? Softball got moved. Boom.
Perfect example. The Bash, and he played for you 4 games.
Right.
Basher signed him.
Right.
Yeah.
Basher's got him.
That was the great thing about the Kermit rule being introduced last year was it was a good way to get extra players in and find new people, and it really got. And even now, we took it as kind of a joke at first, midway through the season. You had, Brett taking Arthur Reed and all this stuff. So it was just like a joke at first, but it is a good rule that was established to kind of get it.
It was progressive thinking.
And
I
Rat
do like most of the rules with it, too.
Rat
One thing,
got the Bashers a win.
yeah.
The Bashers would have never won a fucking game other than Rat. I'm being honest. Rat changed that whole franchise.
Well, and you
I
heard
hope
it
his
if you
injury's
listen
fine.
to last week's
He's
podcast.
good.
I said that. I said he needs to just lean on him and just get his opinions of what he thinks. Because Rat's a good wiffle ball player. He's gonna know what to do. So if that means making a move, you should probably listen to him.
Should the Bashers drop Alex Friedman?
Well,
Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I'm
Anyway.
sorry. Friedman's my dude.
No, he's not.
He gave me
He gave him a
He gave
ring.
me a fucking ring.
He hasn't gotten you your flip-flops back from 4 years ago.
He got me my
Come on.
flip-flops.
yeah, he
No, he
did.
did not.
Yeah, he
All right,
did.
I got one more question before we go to break, and this is one
Yeah,
I've been
this needs
thinking
to be-
about a while. Oh, this is good talk, Greg.
This is good talk, Greg.
Because I'm thinking of this from a few different perspectives, from teams that are struggling right now to teams that are, doing well. How important do you think picking and cultivating a team to, as the owner, your leadership style and the kind of style you want to play wiffle ball is important? I look at this specifically from the perspective of the sliders, versus the Sluggers right now, who Sluggers are 2-2. But I look at Eric and how he drafted. There is a definite niche that he's trying to play off of with having James as his 2, with having Jason as his 3. Or I look at the Badgers right now with Jared and Marty and how similar they are playing-wise, Cam Varlon being the same way. And I look at Greg's picks with knowing Vince, with knowing Sam, picking consistency. How important do you think that plays into it versus just having a very talented team?
Well, yeah, I mean, you've mentioned this with the Maniacs is like, I mean, it's a very talented team, but are they all kind of together on the same page? Jack's just ripping for the fence every time. Kevin's going to put it in play and run around the bases. John, I mean, I don't know what his identity is right now because he's struggling. And he's not pitching
35-47
well.
last year, $22.
Yeah, so he's and he was a great, like, no one knew if he would come last year because he was 37 going into last year's draft, and then played pretty well, played around a $40 level, and then he's just not doing so hot this year. So yeah, I think it does make, like, you want to make sure that you get some guys. I think that's why Brett drafts the same guys every year.
Yeah.
Or tries to stay with most people
But I think it's been felt that you haven't been as invested as you've been in previous years.
Definitely.
I think especially for Jake.
Yeah. I can't even play the first game every week. That kills me.
Right.
I actually got there on time last week, and I had to watch my team lose. But my answer to the question is, like, when you look at a team like the Yankees or something, when they just stack their team,
right,
they never succeed.
Right.
Because when you look at the championship teams in the league, they've had 4 players that know their role,
right,
and they know what to do,
right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't try and do too much,
right,
or if they have to do too much, if they're a player like Caleb who has to do a lot, then they know they have to do a lot. But
right.
I think that just stacking, for the Maniacs, that's historically that's a good team.
Yeah.
In Lucas and Jack and Kevin. I mean, Kevin and Jack mostly, but you have to find guys that can play with each other and know that, okay, yeah, I'm a 20 player, so I'm just trying to throw strikes for this team.
And before you get into this, I have to eat my words a second, too, because on the Predictions podcast, I said that the Barnstormers I thought were going to be 9th because they didn't have a star. And I thought that take was warranted. I would make that take again, not knowing what I was going to say. However, I think Jim has done a fantastic job of not only taking high-value players, but taking people that are going to fit in. There's not a single guy on that roster under 25, okay, when you look at that team. But Feldy can pitch. Gags can throw strikes. Warner has proven that over time he can throw strikes. And the thing that's sitting on their Kermit right now is a 37-54 Justin Deckinga who fits in perfectly. So
who is going to come watch this week?
Justin.
Justin's going to come watch.
Because he's not in the lineup this week. It's going to be the original 4 for the main 4 for the Barnstormers.
It's about finding an identity, and I'm sorry, you guys made the Turtles one of the last teams, and we've really grown on that slow and steady, scrapping Turtles. I've got the most RBIs this year than I've ever had. It's about scrapping wins, and sure, we lost to the Crocs, but we went to extras the first game.
Who do you got this week?
Game. We got the Sliders. We'll be 8-2. The Sliders are shit. We'll be 8-2.
You just need Robbie to play at just a little bit above his minus 18.
I have a better fucking
right
Tyler Van Kuiken, number 2.
I have a better
big
salary
value
than
number
Robbie.
2 this week. Anyway, so that's a good question. Is there any last comments on that before we move on, Brett?
I don't know. If Tyler doesn't perform, you could explore Peter Kuritz. I don't know. See what comes up there. We'll see. Maybe Isaiah DeVries.
All right.
You could always see if Eric Ginter wants to make a trip out the
Okay, that's
no. Let me answer.
Okay,
let me
well,
answer.
then
My question before this question, I want to answer it really quick because I think it's crazy that we think this rule is actually huge because good players can play, and you have to think about it. There's only a certain amount of points that go throughout the whole league, so if one person's going to be good, somebody else has to be getting bad.
Right.
So I think that we are rewarding talent, which is, we want people to play.
Right.
But if you're good, you're going to play.
Right.
And that's not how it's been in the past.
No,
that's a good point.
Fuck yeah, Brett. Thank you.
Because if you're a 40 player, somebody's gonna drop somebody that's playing $15 underneath what they signed them for,
Right.
and they're gonna take that 40 player.
Right. And this is why we don't need to be dumb and make a jump to 14 teams, because right now we have competitive balance.
Let's go 20 teams.
Okay.
20 teams, Greg. Your thoughts?
Take the mic.
20 teams, and we'll have fields
Anyway.
all the way to what? Arizona?
Okay.
Arizona Street?
So
We'll play in the
that's
lake.
going to do it. We still have to preview next week and get into the question bag. So we're going to do that here on the other side. And we're back on the other side. So we're going to preview the games. We're going to start off. I'm going to look at, for reference, I'm looking at a text that Tim sent me of all the lineups and such.
Okay.
Or wait, I'll get it up. Where's the...
No, here, you just stick to calling out with the rosters. I'll call the game. So, first game we're going to preview. Yeah, first game we're going to preview. Turtles and Sliders, 6:15. Do you have a field? On Harambe. So this is the TV game. This is your featured night. Okay, Sliders roster looks like.
Tim, what is it now? It's going to be Alec, Moselle,
Travis
and
Well, no,
Zach
their order,
Turbin.
not their team. Their order. You're looking at the wrong thing.
I'm pretty sure that's the order. I think
Don't you have it in front of you?
It's empty.
we have Gerlach, Moselle,
Travis Turbin, right?
and Eric Ginter.
No, it's Turbin. Is that the right
guy?
order, Tim?
And Luke Fenema.
Okay, yes.
All right.
So yes, Gerlach, Moselle, Travis,
Jeff White.
Turbin versus Robbie, Tyler Van Kyken, Tim, and Matt at the 4. So, big time matchup.
Wow, Matt putting himself fourth.
He can't pitch.
He can.
No, he very adamantly said he was happy that they were losing that game, so he didn't have to pitch again.
Say this.
He needs surgery.
Yeah.
He needs surgery. He's
Absolutely, he's needed it for a couple of years.
And that's something that we got to get into with him is maybe pitching him one inning and then switching him up or something. But yeah, he was hurting. He's a good pitcher, but he's hurt.
Yeah. I'll start it off. I think I'm gonna say the Sliders get their first 2 wins here.
Oh wow,
Sorry, bud. I'm
Wow.
just gonna say that. they get-
controversial.
I think Alex
Wow.
steps up, and I think Travis is gonna hit some home runs. So, and I don't know about Van Kyken being your number 2. Him pitching a few multiple innings might be it could be either good or bad. I mean, that's been his problem. I mean, we loaded the bases on him and we couldn't score against him because we've been struggling to hit. But I mean, I feel like the Crocs kind of exposed that.
The
so-
Narwhals are different than the Turtles, just so you know.
Okay.
We
you're
will
gonna be
score.
4-4 this
We will
week.
score on Alec.
Yeah,
I don't-
maybe Robbie and
Yeah. I mean, Robbie gave up how many runs last week? 5 runs.
yeah, I think so. In the second game.
Yeah, he's struggling to find the zone. I mean, Tyler's still unproven. The bird is still out on him. You'll throw strikes, but you can't get into extended pitches in an inning or your arm just falls off. And then Matt is what it is. If this turns into a slugfest, I think this could be a split. I think the Sliders could take a game. I don't foresee a sweep just with how. Who are the Sliders playing again? It's Alec, Brian.
Moselle and Turbin.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
So that
So-
one's going to be.
He's about on the same level as Tyler Van Kyken, probably.
Okay. So
So-
here's my prediction. If the wind is blowing out, I think it's a split. I think, especially when you drop Robbie to the bottom and you have Matt throwing potentially 2, or depending on what happens, you got Tyler throwing 2, Tim and Matt. They could score in game 2. I think I have a split.
Brett.
I think if it's a slugfest, the Turtles are losing too. That's
So,
but as for the pitching and defense side, I see it being pretty. I don't see anybody taking over the game. Like I see it being pretty even, but
See,
don't
I would
know.
say Alec, but he hasn't done it this year.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I base my prediction off of him stepping up this week, but we'll see. I mean,
I don't know.
so what's
got
your
Robbie
final
too, I don't-
prediction?
What's your prediction?
Final prediction. I'm gonna go on a limb and say that the Sliders take 2 in a miracle.
Oh, we get to hear
They
from
win
the
by more
turtle
than
himself.
3 in one game.
Robbie had his first week last week. This is Tim speaking. Struggled.
No, really.
Wind blowing out. Robbie will dominate this series. We'll get 2 wins. I'm not worried about it. Listen,
What if Brittany wants to have a pool night?
I don't care what the fuck's going on. Guaranteed the Sliders are 0-8 after this week.
So your
Drop the
prediction
mic.
is 0-2.
Turtles 2-0. We're what, 6-2?
So the majority vote is a sweep for the Sliders.
Yeah, but I heard that the Bruins have fondue Wednesdays on the last Wednesday every month, so
Uh-oh.
watch out.
Anyway,
Might be
So-
some marshmallows.
And then you're gonna go have a bonfire in the back.
all right, let's keep this moving. Next up is
We'll
the
see you,
Badgers and Barnstormers. The Badgers have Cam Verlon, Jared, Marty, and Bo again against Gagliardi, Andy Feldy, Tuck, and
Wow.
Austin Warner.
This is a good
Now-
matchup.
Is Jim at the 3?
Jim is their 3.
Because on their Barnstormers Twitter, it was the other way around.
Tim?
Tim, do you know? Did they change their lineup?
From what I have is their lineup they sent to me is Gags, Felday, Tucker, Warner.
Okay, so that's okay.
That's,
so that's
all
what
I
they'll
know.
have to play.
That's
Yeah.
what that's what I was sent. That's what they have.
So Tim, why don't you go with your prediction here first? Why don't you start off?
Who do the Barnstormers play?
The Badgers.
The Badgers. Cam, Jared, Marty,
I
and
don't
Bo.
get why Cam's number 1.
He is playing out of his mind. He's on steroids or something because he's running about 5,000 miles an hour. He tripped over first about 10 times.
The mustache gives
He's
him new
running
life.
to the. I mean, he is like on another level.
I get
think
him.
He was very upset with the team he was playing on last year. Warner was always talking about trading him, and getting rid of
True.
him, and I think
He was on the
he's-
trade block for
I get
10
that.
weeks.
I get that. I get that. Cam's over Jared. I don't get why Marty's the 3rd. Why wouldn't you give Marty 3 innings?
He's been struggling though. But
You got to give Marty 3 innings. I'm sorry.
well,
I'm
I
sorry.
think
You
it's
have
just
to.
a
have your-
matter of
with how poorly Jared's pitched this year, why would you have himself as 2?
Well,
Marty's got to be a 1
I
or 2.
think Jared just probably trusts himself to hit more than Marty. They've both been buns hitting wise. I mean, they scored 7 runs, but I mean, it was a matter of fact of like a lot of balls were hit like right down the line again and hit at people.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
A lot of-
Questionable managerial decision here from the sheriff.
He's done this 2 weeks in a row.
What's your prediction, Tim? Not mine.
I'm gonna say the Barnstormers get a loss here. I'm gonna go and I'm looking at their lineup on Twitter and it says Gags, Felday, Warner, Justin. I don't understand that when they gave me a
Jim.
different lineup, but
well, I'm pretty sure
Penalties.
that Gags
Penalties.
runs the Twitter and not Tuck. So
Oh.
I don't know.
interesting.
But so what are you saying? Are you saying they split or sweep? Who's
I'm going with the split on this one.
Okay.
I think the Barnstormers get their first loss.
okay? Caleb, we'll throw it to you. Or
Let's go to
Brett.
Brett.
All right, I think
Around
I think the Badgers take the first one for sure. And then the second game goes to extra innings and
Wow.
they lose. The Badgers
The
lose.
Badgers. So a split.
So it is
for
a
you.
split.
Okay.
But this is a good matchup. This should be
I
the
think
TV
so,
game.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked when we used to vote for the games, but then it became Badgers every week because they have the most
Because of
followed.
their 20 burner accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Caleb, go ahead. We'll go
Yeah,
around the
I
horn.
I don't see anything but a split here. There's just two, like Warner and Tuck in his first week with the question marks. Feldy gives up one hit and then all of a sudden he's throwing lob pitch. I've seen it too much. I don't know. Gags has been playing well, no two ways about it. Both leagues respect, but yeah, I would say Badgers sweep. if Marty's 1, Cam is 2, Jared's 3. I mean, with having Bo, that's a bat. I don't know. I just don't know. I'm gonna say split just so that I don't piss somebody off because I have no idea.
I would-
and I'm
I
gonna
would say if Brian Vanderlee and Joel Dykstra come out to cheerlead, they might sweep.
Maybe Marley. I don't know.
I was gonna say split also. I mean, now we've all had a split. I think it's just a very evenly matched game. A lot of interesting talent on both sides. We'll see how Tuck does his first week if he can throw that knuckleball effectively. That's what he's been doing to
Have
save
it
his
dancing.
arm. And yeah, so we'll see if he can do that. And if Warner can pitch. And it comes down to, I mean, you're going to be able to get hits off of Bo because he's throwing about 10%. So he's not throwing hard. Marty's been kind of erratic, and so is Cam. So that's the thing. I think the Barnstormers will get to him in a couple innings, but I think they end up splitting.
And that team can hit. The Barnstormers can hit decent.
Yeah, they can.
Off of that pitching,
Yeah,
they
oh
can hit
yeah.
decent. And I just want to say, I applaud Austin Warner. I think that he's made a leap this year. I played him first week, and I was impressed.
He's feeling new life from the
Well-
Napa County Music Festivals.
Yeah. Well, where in the world is Austin
He's
Warner?
going to
He was in
Bonnaroo.
Napa.
He's at Bonnaroo right now.
Scale of 1 to 10, how much Molly is Haas going to have for this game?
No.
0. Moving on to the next matchup, Caleb.
0 pounds.
We've got the Narwhals against the Maniacs. The Narwhals roll out a lineup of Vince Carullo, Zach Heiss, Sam Stahl, and Greg Geerling at the 4. The Maniacs rolled a lineup of Kevin Vrug, Jack Hilligans, John Ingenberg, and Joey Rivera. Greg, get us started.
Talking about my own team.
Yeah. What's your thoughts first?
Narwhal sweep. Move it along.
Wow. That was
Why?
abrupt. Kevin's been playing well.
I'm
Jack
picking the
is-
homer pick. I'm not gonna. Sorry. Go ahead.
Kevin's been playing well. Jack has been playing well. John has not. Joey has. Yeah, I don't know. If Vince and Zach continue to do what they do, and you continue to produce and increase your salary, I mean, there's one area of weakness right now on your team. So if Sam plays to his $33 salary that you have him for,
The
You
point
guys
is
sweep.
Our whole team needs to hit. We pitch well.
see, here you go again. Vince is hitting 500. Zach
Yeah.
Heiss is hitting 400.
and,
You're
it's like
getting on-
3.
Okay?
I have 2 hits all season. So I'm saying everyone on our team needs to hit in order for this to happen.
I
think
agree
this is a
with
good
that.
week to do it.
I agree with that. Sam is a lot better than what he's been
John
playing.
has been struggling.
Would you
Oh,
shop?
No.
Sam,
You and Sam need to hit. Everyone else is fucking hitting. You guys have the worst 2 batting averages in the league.
Zach is hitting 290. He has 9 hits, 7 singles, and 2 home runs.
What?
Caleb, continue your thought.
Sam already knows this, and we have a level of respect where I can say this to him. If Sam performs at his $33 level this year, you guys have 3 wins at least. You do. And if he picks it up this week, you guys can go on a hot streak. I'm not joking. Your 1-2-3 is a top 3 1-2-3 in the league. And if they perform, it's enough with how you're pitching. Your ERA is below 10 this year. That is enough. If you're giving up 2 runs, 3 runs a game, you have enough talent on that team to beat people, but you can't do it with 2. Ace is an ace. Moving on. If Sam performs, you guys sweep. Mic drop.
Brett.
If he doesn't, I say split.
Maniacs take 2. Because this is my reason. Sam is most likely not going to perform because the wind's going to be against you again.
No, I have a good
Definitely.
feeling about Sam this week. I think he's going to come out.
And my reason is John will step up on the Maniacs. I don't really know that much about Joey, though. I still think that
He came over to my house once for a scrimmage.
well, he's still playing at a 16, so
true.
it didn't
He
help.
did.
I forgot about that.
I'm going to say the Narwhals lose to
Cool.
In
All right,
close
Sam, your
games-
No.
prediction.
I'm sorry, Greg.
That's fine.
Maniacs win both.
Okay, so that's a split on the decision. So
No, I'm not going to downplay this because I think it's very important, and I know he'll listen to this. Sam, you are better than what you've been playing. You take care of this, and you are going to lift this Narwhals franchise to be out of the death bracket. Mark my words. You have the ability to do that.
all right, next match.
No comment from the manager?
I said this in my chat today because
Is Sam
Tim-
on the trading block?
no,
Where's Sam going?
nowhere.
He shouldn't be going anywhere.
He went to the third spot this week. I'm trying to change things up. The pitching on my team has been really good, so I'm trying to change up. Hopefully, mix
Sam
lineup
has
a
the
little
most
bit.
losses of anyone this year. So is the pitching good? I don't know.
We should be able to give up a couple of runs.
Why are y'all
So-
trying to throw my boy Sam under the bus like that?
I don't know his stats. It's Tim.
Let's listen
He's
to
like
Tim.
batting 100, and he's got like a.
He's
5
got more
ERA.
burnouts than wins. That's all I got to say.
Okay.
Cool.
Which, according to last week, Tim said we can't do any more burnouts, Sam. So
You do a burnout every morning.
I got a message from my neighbor. Please don't burn out anymore. I'm trying to live here.
Well, hitting a bunch of balls into his asparagus patch probably doesn't help.
He's growing some mean asparagus. They were out tilling that shit up last weekend, and I felt bad. I gave him a wave. They waved at me back, but what the fuck, Sam? Quit burning out.
You missed a triple for Sam.
I actually want to call out Cam Varlon too. He burned out.
Yeah, well, he didn't really burn out.
Is he
The
the
only
one
thing he
driving-
needs to
That
burn
off.
out
Is he the
his-
one driving
is
the
his
Mustang?
mustache.
Yes, he is.
So he drove the Mustang and burned
I've
out
said
with his
this. I
mustache.
don't think
Okay,
people understand.
Clay Street
No,
Crocs
no,
versus
no,
the Bombers.
no. We need to mention this.
No.
Cam Varlon's mustache is an adventure.
God
you need a map. To
Damn,
freaking
that is a
navigate that thing.
mustache.
Okay.
Fuck me in
Jeez.
that
Bombers
mustache.
versus Crocs.
I want to fuck
Here
that
we go.
mustache.
Okay, you know.
Almost more than Brett's sister.
Bombers
no.
have
I want
Shaft,
Becca to put a mustache
Jake
on.
in
So
the
I can-
first game, Brett in the second game, Colin batting third, and then Chandler fourth. And then for the Crocs, they have Jackson, Vogus, Josh Schmitz, and Cole Feldy, the other Feldy.
Who the buns?
So, yeah, let's talk about the Bombers and Crocs.
You know, Cole Feldy kind of reminds me of Tony Gobert and Justin Gobert. Okay, let's keep going.
Anyway,
He's the egg
So-
of a brother on the site. So
Predictions. So the
Barry
Crocs. Jake, if Jake doesn't pitch well and Chandler, I mean those two, right, combined are less than Micah Hescott right now. Isn't that what we were saying earlier?
Yes.
that's
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna say Crocs sweep. They've been really hot. Smits was pretty good in his first week, and Cole, pretty good player from GBL. We'll see how it translates, but
who's Cole taking the place of?
Micah Hescott. Yeah. So
Cole, I'll say this. I think the Crocs will sweep potentially, but the jury's out if Cole can throw a real wiffle ball.
true. That's what I said. It just
So
matters.
his
His arm is as good as Feldy's.
He's had control issues in GBL with the GBL ball that he's been playing with for many years.
True.
So I'm very interested to see how he throws. Now he can hit, and I think Vogus still isn't completely at to where he needs to be. Now, you're playing only one game.
Yeah.
You have Colin, you have Kyle, Chandler. If Jake is buns again, you know what? I keep betting against the Crocs to split, and they keep sweeping. So I don't. Can I not vote on this one? Do I have to vote?
No, sure. You don't have to.
No, I need to vote, or Vogus will be mad.
You're not going to hurt my feelings.
No, I'm
Brett,
gonna say
Caleb. Any thoughts? Follow-ups?
if you were playing 2 in the 2 spot, I would have said a split.
Yeah, I'm playing in the 2 spot in the second game.
But he was saying both.
I say
Yeah.
you're a lot better than Jake. I'm gonna say Croc sweep.
Brett.
Me now? I just want one win. I mean, it's a good team.
Yeah.
I hope that I can win the game that I play. My guys are hitting. They actually had good hits in both games.
Yeah, you guys
but
were hitting
we were
pretty
getting
well.
robbed. Any left field. See, all my guys
Oh,
are
yeah.
righties. And I was up against a team last week that had 2 lefties, and the wind was out to
Right.
right field.
Yep.
And Garrett even pushed homer to right field too. So, but we would have won definitely the first game, if not the second game, if our hits were what they actually were. Because Kyle dicked the ball. Colin would have had a grand slam and another homer. So, I mean, I'm hoping we win the second game. So, split.
Okay.
Can't go sweep against my own team.
No, I feel you.
But they gotta pitch. Jeez. 15? I've never had a 15 on my team, except for Tyler and Jake. Krishke.
Quick shout out. Harambe died 3 years ago today. Greg, your thoughts?
I want to know your thoughts on the series prediction.
Okay. Bombers and Crocs. We should have beat the Crocs last week.
No.
Tyler fucked us. Is what it is. I hope the Bombers beat this fuck up team of the Crocs. I wish Jackson would.
So you saying Bombers sweep?
1-1. Jackson will
1-1.
win a game. Brian will lose a game. Game 2.
All right. So
'Cause
that's
Brett-
another split decision.
Brett is
here.
twice the man as Ryan Bogus.
Okay.
Mark my words.
Okay.
Anyway, the last series of the day is going to be Liners and Sluggers. Liners have Mike Kubacki Jr., Jeff Borkowski, and Rob Warren at the 4 versus the Sluggers, Eric Detmar, former Liner James Hayworth, Jason Hilligans, also former Liner for about a week, and Luke Hilligans. So, big matchup. A championship matchup from last year.
Mm. Except
I'm going to
James
say
is-
split again because the Sluggers have split the first 2
You
series.
have split every one.
No.
You said
I said Croc sweep. I said
No.
I sweep.
you
And I
said
said
Narwhal
split.
sleep.
And I said slider sweep.
Yeah.
And I said slider sweep. So I've said 3 sweeps out
I
of
think you've
5.
split every one.
Not true.
I'm going to start this one.
I already said mine. So.
Championship matchup. Kubaki, huge addition over Matt Miller. Matt Miller's been playing great. Good for you. You got the Caleb effect. Kubaki's got the best whip in the league. Stud. Liner sweep this one. Sluggers 1-5. 2-4. Sorry.
4.
Brett, thoughts before we get to the owner himself?
Yeah. Let's see here. Sheesh. Luke Hilligans isn't playing this week.
Yeah, he is.
Who's he playing for?
The Sluggers.
The 4 spot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
they have
that's
no
not a good
cap
addition.
space right
The
now.
fact that Eric added Luke Hilligans this week and you added Kubaki, that's a major difference.
Luke's been playing for them.
Yeah, Luke's been playing for them. He also has the lowest salary in the entire league. He's a 12. You could take 3 of him almost, and he's not even better than Micah Heskett.
Colin Peters or Luke Hilligans?
I
Luke
would take
Hilligans
Luke
all the
every
way.
time, but
Okay.
No, that's not even a question. Every time, Colin
I think
Peters
Luke-
is the worst player
Luke
ever to
will
play.
up his salary. I still think that
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say, where's the other direction?
I guess we need Jake. We need a panel of Jake, Tyler Walk, and Colin Peters here to let us know
No. Oh, no.
how you do that.
You strike out every at bat. You give up max
No,
runs.
you need
without
Andy
getting an
Turner
out.
for that.
Yeah, well, I'm still saying Liners take both,
Okay, so sweep for those 2 guys.
and then
Uh,
hopefully Eric adds Eric Ginter next year. Or next week.
Caleb.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't actually seen Mike play, but everyone's hyped him up, so I picked him up immediately off the Kermit. I really do think Jeff Borkowski could be the best ad I've made all year, actually, despite how Matt Miller's been playing. Watched him play for the Sliders back-to-back weeks, and he's a defensive prowess. He's got great hands. work with him on his swing as long as he's hitting singles and getting on base, and he threw strikes. So without having anybody really work with him, so
You mean just sitting there waiting for 10 pitches to get a single? That's what you mean?
well, my name is
The
on the ship,
liners.
isn't it?
He
The
can
Liner's way.
he can swing the bat though. I know
Can he?
Jeff. He can
Yeah,
swing the
I
bat.
understand that, which is why I picked him up. So I think there's possible to split if Rob blows up, but Rob hasn't blown up all year, so I'm gonna say sweep for the Liners.
Okay, so that's the majority.
Although
sweep.
James, I'll say this: James has been playing at $40 this year, really quietly. Nobody's really mentioned or noticed that. So I mean, the dude's been shoving on the mound and getting on base, so
Yeah.
doing what he does, and he's doing it much better. So I don't know.
I think
could
he
pe-
likes being that too. He's
Did
fits
you-
into that role.
Greg, did you hear that he's a hound
I saw that.
for
Pretty
Circle
Southside.
City?
Big shout out to the person that probably got him on that team that's sitting in this room.
Hi, hello.
Oh.
So
Whoa, all
because they
right.
had to try out for it. 8-0 by the Crocs, 6-0 by the Vultures. What did we say for the Barnstormers? We said
Split.
right?
We said
Definitely
split.
split.
So 4-1. Liners would be 6-0. Turtles would be 4-4.
4-4.
Badgers would be 3-3. Sluggers would be 2-4. We said majority, or no, we were split on the Narwhals one, right? Yeah.
We said Narwhal split.
Narwhal's
We said sweep. They said sweep maniacs. So
We'll say split.
then they would be 2-4. Bashers would still be 1-5. Bombers would be, what did we say for that one? 0-6. Sliders would be. Did we say
1-7.
Who they play?
Sliders, we said sweep for the Truckers. So
Those
they would be
Turtles,
2
you mean?
the truckers.
Trucker.
The Sliders play the Crocs.
You
And we
dumbasses think
said-
the
so
fucking
2-6.
Sliders are gonna sweep us. You guys are high. Are you guys smoking
And
Molly
then
with
1-6
Warner?
for the Narwhals. So, let's go to the questions and get this
Oh, this
nonsense
is-
over with.
this is
I
out
hate
of
this
control.
show.
We've got about
So-
13 from the sheriff, so
Yeah,
Let's look
well,
at those.
they're all stupid.
yeah.
All right, so who's off to the most surprising start? Asked Kyle Gagliardi.
Team or player?
Yeah, team or player.
Who is
Greg?
off to the most surprising start? That's what it says.
Has
I'll
to
let
be.
you Take it.
Has to be Micah Hescott.
I mean, he's played 2 games.
I'm gonna say James Hayworth.
Yeah.
James or Justin, honestly. I don't think anyone saw them raising their salary so much.
Justin Deckinga?
$37.
I mean, come on. The
He was
Caleb effect.
27 before this year started, right?
The Caleb effect was a thing, and then he's actually playing better without Caleb. No,
Maybe I held him down. Who knows?
But on the negative side, I would have to say Sam.
yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
No. No. Who
Like
the,
negative.
or Jake
yeah.
Van Buren.
Yeah. The negative side. Who the hell's playing at $12 that we said?
Luke
Yeah.
Hilligans. He's a rookie.
But that's not a surprise. I mean, that's
Okay.
a rookie.
Jake Van Buren, 15.
How about
That's
myself?
surprising.
No,
But-
not you.
Alec Gerlach at a 21.
Yeah.
Way. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty surprising.
Yeah.
Gags also asks, who are your way too early All-Star selections?
Yeah, I wanted to touch on this. The All-Star team is going to be shaken
Okay. Well,
up.
we
this
can't. We
year.
can't. We will not have time to go through 12 picks. Let's
No,
do an
that's
all Leroy
too
team.
much.
An all Leroy team right now.
Top 5.
Caleb.
the top 6. There's actually 4 GBL players in the top 6 for all Leroy right now. Just throwing that out there. But
Ooh,
GBL is still a
Gags.
fucking shit league.
Gags, Vogus, Jackson, and Feldy. Is that the 4? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I said Vogus, but yeah, all Leroy. I'd say Caleb, Dave,
Chris
Vince,
He's
and,
$57. I mean,
and Jackson.
Yeah,
Actually,
and then maybe Garrett.
Gags is playing better than Jackson, and
Yeah, Jackson didn't hit till this week.
but yes,
I'm gonna say me, Dave, Garrett. No. Eric
Oh yeah.
and
Man, there's a lot of good players. It's
Rat.
So hard to pick.
Rat, Eric, me, Dave, and who is the fifth?
You said Garrett, right? Or did you already say him?
Garrett, Eric, Caleb, Rat, and Dave. That's my
Okay.
all right team this year.
That leads us into our next question. How long will Rat last on the Bashers? From Jared.
If he stays at $50 the entire season.
Yeah. Unless he starts playing like hot cross buttons, he's not getting dropped at all.
No, he's not going to get dropped, but is he going to lose interest?
No.
He
Rat's
won a
not
game
that
for
kind of
them.
guy.
Well,
I think he's having fun.
he's 1-5 in GBL with the Tacomas, and he's still invested. So
Yeah, that's
I
different.
talked
though.
to Rat. I talked to Rat over
The reason
the
he's
weekend.
invested in GBL is because of his Luke Bryan or what the fuck tweeted it.
Russell Dickerson.
Oh, I'm gonna get a boner because Russell Dickerson fucking Instagrammed my team.
Okay.
You're still 1-5, asshole.
Anyway, Rat will last on the Bashers all season. I don't think he loses interest. I don't think he's that kind of guy. Will Marty ever get on a show? Yes. Does the strike even exist anymore, or just a burner account with Fireside Chat? That's exactly what it says. I think he means Strike Zone.
Who tweeted?
These are all Jared questions. Are you serious? Of course. He asks 10 questions a week.
Will the hosts of Going Corn finally put some respect in the Badgers' name after another perfect game? Yes, when you decide to throw a strike. Was Dave in attendance last week? I never got yelled at.
Hold on. Whoa. You're jumping all around.
Ryan Bogus.
Stop doing this.
Okay, sorry. I'm
Kyle
listening.
Schaff played David Bissack.
Does
There
the
was
strike
no
zone even
fights.
exist anymore?
Does the
We
strike
have the
zone
host
exist?
here.
Yeah, you have a show that you made about 10 months ago that's sitting in a Leroy file online in escrow. I've
Should we
listened to
throw
it
it
about
out?
like 5 times.
Should we throw it
Yes,
out
you should. It's like an hour and a half podcast from like
The
It's
last
probably
one
a-
they actually did was with us, though, I think.
It's probably a hungover Sunday, and I totally forgot about
was
it.
that the
so-
hotel room? Yeah,
No, that was a different one. I
was
put
at
that one
regionals.
out.
Greg, the hotel room podcast was the best podcast that us four have done together for sure.
correct.
I liked that one.
That
That
one
was a
was
good
good,
one.
but you also edited out everything that was good
No, I
about it.
didn't.
Half of everything that was good about it.
No.
No.
Anyway,
Speaking of that, why did you edit out my thoughts on Brett's sister last week?
anyway,
Because you could have gone to prison.
Yeah,
how much do you love Wiffle Now? Wiffle Now is a great, good podcast. So
Spoiler alert, I'll actually be on Wiffle Now this Thursday.
yeah, the plug.
are you taking Tyler's place?
For the cutoff, yeah, I'll be cutoff episode 4. To respond to the AWAA controversial statements.
So up to 1. What will the max at how many he will break this year? Well, if the clipboards weren't so fucking weak, it wouldn't matter. Because I barely tapped a pen and it broke in half. So cool.
Where else do you want
Final
us to go?
question
You-
from
you-
Gags.
you've been
When
in the
will
weight room.
Gags be on Going Corn? At some point during the year, along with everyone else. Thoughts on Taka reunion on the Crocs? Interesting. Bartley will be playing against the Maniacs, 100% guaranteed. Was Dave in attendance last week? I never got yelled at, asked Vogus. Yes, he was. He'd only hit one meaningful home run, apparently. So, wasn't a big deal. Because Gags said, I heard him once screaming thinking he had a home run. It wasn't.
He talked about his diet half the game.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Big diet guy. Has Greg recovered from Sunday night yet? Yes. I'm feeling better now.
No, you did say that when you got here.
Yeah, I know. I'm feeling better now.
You said you were
I
still
took some
hungover.
Pepto-Bismol before I came in, so.
You
That
probably
works.
should take some before the ride home.
Who, me?
Yeah,
Somewhat.
Pepto-Bismol.
I've been popping Xanax and beer. That's all I need.
So that's going to do it for Going Corn. This has been a nightmare, and Caleb is no longer in charge of booking.
This is
guests.
a great podcast.
Brett, you were a great addition to the show.
Can I
Thanks.
I want to put a question in the question bag.
Sure.
When do you think Kevin Edgington would be picked up on a team?
Never.
He's moving to Ohio.
He's moving to Ohio in about 3
No,
weeks.
here's the
So
last
he's done with Ball State for good.
confirmed last
He
question.
was he works at Enterprise.
Confirmed last question. Are you going to show up to GBL so you can actually pitch at Nationals this year?
I'm showing up next week. Yes.
You need to show up the next 3 weeks, brother.
It's only May 28th, and the tournament is July.
We have to have tournament roster in by July 1
We have about 5 weeks left of GBL. You
to
need
get
make
you
3 of
filled.
those.
I'll make 3 weeks. Go Nasty Boys.
Doesn't the GBL season end in like 2 weeks for some reason?
5 weeks.
5.
And it's a lot better than when they were ending in September and October.
That's true.
We played on Halloween. Anyway,
Okay.
so
Okay, Brett.
Their
from
playoffs usually start when Russell Dickerson comes out with his first single of the summer.
that's gonna do it for Going Corn. This has been a nightmare. Until next time.
See ya.